Yeah.
Doc8812, thanks for the super chat. He says, if we live in a blue state and we are persecuted for our beliefs, to what extent do we stand up for the faith? Should we carry a megaphone with us, or should we go underground like the church in China, converting secretly?
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's what we're being called to at this point. The church in its most effective years, anybody who pays attention to church history doesn't need to be told this, obviously, but the most effective evangelization has been those generations who were full of martyrs, not those necessarily who fought back and who claimed their rights. So I wonder what it is that we're being called to do. I think part of the challenge with America and Americanism is that people have been so conditioned to understand that they need to stand up for their rights and they need to fight for it. They need to announce who it is and what they stand for, and to assert, say, Christianity in a similar way. And I wouldn't just say in a similar way, I would say in a political way. And the obvious problem with that is that, you look at the way that Jesus responded to one of the only temporal political questions he got about, should we pay taxes? And of course he said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. And there's a lot you could extract from that sequence and that conversation. But one of the things that I've always thought about it was that he was just being very dismissive of the political regime. As in, principalities come and go. Don't invest all of your hope and faith in them. Invest those things in God. And whatever happens to you, God will see you through and he'll give you the grace. If that means martyrdom, then be prepared for it. Don't fight back against that potential outcome. Put your hope in God.
Stephen Hand says, underground, y'all need to sober up. So aren't we just isn't this just an overreaction
Maybe
to the events of the day?
It could be, but again, I think the warning signs and the red flags are there. By the time it gets to a point where you're not overreacting, it's too late to react, I would say. So you need to see the warning signs. You need to recognize them. You need to compare them to similar situations that may have taken place in history. I think everybody up until the moment that Hitler crossed the border into Poland thought, calm down. This isn't going to be a war. We'll give him Czechoslovakia and he'll calm down. It's like, no, there was no point at which he was going to stop. And if we had recognized what was happening long before that, it might not have erupted into a world war. We could have shut that down before Germany was able to mobilize, and maybe things would have been a lot better off. But we weren't overreacting when maybe we should have been.
I think at the very least we can see that conservative voices that aren't sort of towing the pro-LGBT plus line are beginning to be silenced. Like at least that. So and we're seeing people being deplatformed. So at the very least, those of us who are on these social media platforms at least need to start thinking about how can we be faithful? How can we,
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this clip. You can click here to watch the full episode. And I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors and to our amazing patrons for making all of this possible. Please do us a favor before you go. Click that subscribe button and then the bell. And that way YouTube will be forced to let you know every time we put out a new episode.